There's something uniquely terrifying about abandoned hospitals at night. Quiet kind of terrifying. The kind where the silence feels heavier than sound itself. Imagine standing alone in a hallway. Fluorescent lights barely work anymore. Wheelchairs still sitting against the walls. Patient files scattered across desks. Dust covering the medicine bottles. And somewhere, deeper inside the building, a door. A door that people swear could never be opened. The worst part? The room behind that door never existed. Tonight, we are going to talk about GONJIAM Psychiatric Hospital. Welcome to the podcast you can't unhear. About an hour outside Seoul, deep in the mountains of Gyeonggi Province, there used to be a psychiatric hospital people spoke about almost like a curse. GONJIAM. Psychiatric Hospital. The building sat isolated in the forest, reachable only through winding mountain roads that twisted through trees and fog. There is something about abandoned hospitals. They already carry this emotional weight somehow. Because hospitals are places where people are supposed to heal. Psychiatric hospitals especially. Places built around vulnerable minds. Fear. Loneliness. Medication. Isolation from the outside world. So when those buildings become abandoned, it almost feels like the emotions stay trapped there. GONJIAM operated normally throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s. Doctors, nurses, patients. Nothing particularly strange, at least officially. Then, in 1996, the hospital suddenly shut down. No dramatic press conference, no huge scandal. Just closed. And what made people uncomfortable was how abruptly everything seemed abandoned afterward. Patient records still sitting on desks. Beds untouched. Equipment left behind like someone expected to come back eventually. That detail matters psychologically, because humans are really disturbed by interrupted normality. A fully destroyed building feels easier to understand, but places that look paused feel wrong, like time stopped halfway through something. And that's exactly the atmosphere GONJIAM had. Then, the internet found it. And honestly, I think GONJIAM became one of the first truly modern internet ghost stories in Asia. Because this happened during the late 1990s and early 2000s, when online forums were exploding in popularity across South Korea. Urban legends spread fast back then, especially stories involving abandoned places. One anonymous post claimed someone knew a former hospital worker whose relative had witnessed something horrifying before the closure. Then suddenly, everyone online started adding details. According to the rumors, patients inside GONJIAM began dying mysteriously. One patient, then another, then several more. No explanation. No clear medical cause, just death, quietly spreading through the hospital. And the stories kept evolving. Some people claimed doctors had been secretly performing illegal experiments, lobotomies, dangerous electroshock therapy, untested psychiatric medications, the kind of rumors that sound horrifying enough to become believable online. Another version of the story was even darker. According to this version, the hospital director himself slowly went insane. Staff allegedly saw him standing motionless in hallways, talking to walls. Patients reported hearing whispers inside the building, cold hands touching them at night, shadows moving in empty corridors. And once enough people repeat the same imagery online, Your brain starts creating the movie automatically. Then came the detail that transformed GONJIAM from creepy abandoned building into full horror mythology. The 42 patients. According to the legend, all 42 remaining patients took their own lives. Together. One night before the hospital closed. That story spread everywhere. And once people emotionally accepted that idea, GONJIAM stopped being a location. It became haunted territory. By the early 2000s, urban explorers started sneaking inside regularly. And this is where the story gets really interesting to me, because almost everyone reported the same emotional experience. Overwhelming dread, pressure in the chest, sudden coldness, the feeling of being watched. I don't think people were necessarily lying. I think environments can psychologically infect people sometimes, especially places loaded with expectation. Fear changes perception. Once your brain believes a place is haunted, every noise suddenly becomes threatening. Every shadow feels alive. One story from 2015 claimed 3 college students entered the building late at night and found a perfectly intact locked room on the 2nd floor. They allegedly heard dragging noises inside. Something slammed violently against the door, and they ran. Another paranormal investigator reportedly spent the night alone there in 2012. Around 3 a.m., he entered what he believed was the director's office. Then all his equipment died simultaneously. Cameras, audio devices, lights. And standing in complete darkness, he supposedly heard footsteps approaching him slowly from behind. Then there was room 402, the most famous part of the legend. According to internet stories, it was where the worst patients were kept, or where illegal experiments happened, depending on which version you heard. But everyone agreed on one thing. Nobody could open the door. Crowbars didn't work. Lockpicking failed. It supposedly remained sealed, no matter what. Then in 2012, CNN Travel listed GONJIAM as one of the world's creepiest places. And after that, the internet completely exploded. People from around the world started visiting, filming YouTube videos, trespassing constantly, until, in 2018, the horror movie GONJIAM Haunted Asylum released and became a massive success in South Korea. At that point, the legend became bigger than the real building itself. And honestly, I think that's the moment the story transformed permanently. A collective internet nightmare people wanted to experience themselves. Eventually, the owner got exhausted from constant trespassers and legal problems. So in May 2018, demolition crews destroyed the hospital completely. Even that became part of the legend. Workers reportedly claimed they heard strange noises during demolition and refused to work after dark. Which honestly feels almost poetic. Like the story refused to die even while the building itself disappeared. But what actually happened? According to official records, almost none of the famous GONJIAM stories were true. There were no mass patient deaths, no 42 suicides, no murderous director. The hospital reportedly closed because of financial and regulatory disputes involving sewage treatment systems. All patients were safely transferred elsewhere. The director continued practicing medicine for years. And maybe the craziest detail of all? Room 402 literally could not exist, because the hospital only had 3 floors. That detail genuinely fascinates me, because somehow thousands of people became terrified of a room that physically never existed. That says so much about internet mythology, about suggestion, about collective imagination. And yet, even after the debunking, people still insist something felt wrong there. Different visitors from different countries described similar feelings. Heavy air, oppressive silence, paranoia, the sensation of being watched. And honestly, maybe that's the real haunting. Not ghosts. Expectation. Fear. The power of storytelling itself. Because once enough people believe a place is cursed, the human mind starts decorating reality for you. Every creak becomes evidence. Every cold breeze becomes presence. And maybe GONJIAM says more about us than it does about spirits. About loneliness. Isolation. Our fascination with broken places. The way abandoned buildings become emotional mirrors for whatever fear we carry into them. Because in the end, the hospital itself disappeared. But the feeling people associate with it didn't. And somehow, that's even creepier. Have a nice dream tonight, guys. See you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.